Hi there, thank you so much for clicking the thumbnail and being interested in my work. In this video I share with you my techniques and tips on how I draw the outline for a full-length figure. So be sure to watch it right through till the end, because here and there I'll be slowing things down so you can take a closer look. So let's dive in and take a look. Right, so the first thing to do is to find the center point of the board, and then what I do is create a center point in the image. Now I'm going to show you how I do that with a computer. Just right click on the background, make a duplicate layer, and then select it, and then you'll see in the center of the picture there's a little mark, and the image is scaled up to 15:12. So obviously the board is actually 15:12 as well. Well, working from that center mark, what I'll do is really rough in the area very lightly. It's hardly you can see it, but it's very lightly, just trying to work out where things are, and then we start measuring and moving things about. From that center mark, I'm finding the center mark between the top of the head and that center mark, which fortunately was the top of the eyebrows. So I'll put that mark in first, so then I've got a good measurement then to start with. The side of the face was found by using the pencil vertical on the center point and then seeing where the actual side of the face lies. And the next thing is to try and find the center point between the top of the eyebrows and the center point of your picture, to try and find that area. So you know from the center point in the middle of the picture to the top of the head, the center line of that is the eyebrows. So then you need to find the half of that distance again to see where that lies, and then you can work out then from there what the size of the face is. It's a case of guessing then, drawing it in, working out really by intuitive guesswork, working out where things are by eye, and then adjusting them then by measuring and comparing. But you know, it's always a good idea to use the grid method, like I've mentioned in 3 ways how to draw the outline. If you haven't seen that video, I explain how I draw the outline 3 ways. And the best way really, I think, is to use the grid method, using an inch grid, then a 2-inch grid, then a 3, and keep going until you've just end up with 4 squares. And then eventually it'll be a center point. So you slowly but surely get used to finding these areas and guessing where things are, and then you'll find a way to actually measure it then and compare. It's a case of experience, so it does take a while to actually develop. So you know, if you're a beginner and you're not really sure about this, I would suggest doing the grid to start with. But I'm just explaining to you how I do it if you wanted to have a go at that, because it's so rewarding once you start doing the outline freehand. Now the pencil I'm using for the outline is actually a grey from the Carbotella range, and it's number 708. Now I'll try and explain how I achieve the guesswork. It's very hard to put in words because everything seems to just come automatic these days. But what I think I'm doing instinctively is actually seeing the angles, but actually imagine the angles from where the lie in relation with each other. So there's like imaginary angles that you actually visualize in, and then you're just checking them with horizontal and vertical. Now how things came automatic is just through experience. It's like everything else. It's like when you drive a car. When you first drive a car, you're too much aware of the clutch and the gears, but now after a while you just jump in and drive, and it's the same with this. It just all comes with experience. So be kind to yourself, don't beat yourself up and don't make a big deal of it, but just The little tip I can give you really is the more you can let go of the mind and the more you connect to your heart and open up that and just accept and trust what the movements become, because it automatically just happens. So just trust in that. So maybe just do some quick 5-minute sketches. I did a lot of that in the past, just 5-minute sketches of outlines, just to get used to that instinctive method. If you're getting value from this video, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free, and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. I'd really recommend the kneaded eraser as well in your kit. I mean, I've left a link in the description below, but what that eraser does, it just lifts off that pastel and there's no marks. You know, it's an amazing bit of kit. So you can actually use it to model with, so you can actually get a nice edge with it. You can just thin the lines down, or you can just wipe it off completely, because some rubbers or erasers really leave marks on your actual surface, and it can damage the tooth of the pastel mat. But the kneaded eraser is just awesome, and the brand that I've put in the link is the best brand I've found anyway so far. Now, the method I use to measure is putting my thumb on the pencil and use it for one side of the measurement and then the tip of the pencil for the other side. Then what you do on the original, what you're working from, you're measuring a point, say from the side of the ear to the actual side of the nose, and then measure from that center point where that measure actually goes on a vertical plane. It might be the same distance as above the nose nostril there, so then you can compare then, so you can keep flipping around. So once you've got from the center point to the side of the ear right, as a comparing, then you can do the similar sort of thing and find an area where it's the same as from the bottom of the chin. So it's a case of sort of playing about with it. It's hard to explain, but once you play with this, you'll understand what I mean. If you would like to support me on Patreon, I am now offering an exclusive 4-hour-long video plus a step-by-step exclusive video every month. To find out more, the link is in the description below. So you just keep flipping around, measuring horizontal to vertical. And then if you find any discrepancies, then obviously that needs an attention, so you try and work out what is not correct about it and then change it accordingly. When you're drawing the hair in, it can be overwhelming with all the strands of hair, so just see it as blocks of shade. So just squint the eyes and just sense the areas, big blocks. And then once you've done that, then you can get more and more detailed and sort of firm it up by just going over the pencil. But do it lightly to start with. Find the areas by just the different values. Find the flow. There's a feeling, the flow of the hair and movement, and then just draw that really and enjoy the process. When you're happy with the area of the head and the size and everything, then it's time now to move on further down to the rest of the body. So the first thing to consider is the alignment of the shoulders. So you're using vertical and horizontal marks to compare where the shoulder comes from the side of the face. You've still got your centre mark there, so that centre mark, measure, say from the centre mark to the top of the shoulder, then compare where that would lie with the elements on the face. So you could say, you could measure that part, and then you can just turn it round and measure between the eyes, and you think, oh, it's the same measurement as between the eyes, as the depth of that, so use that then as the measurement. What's great about starting from a centre point as well, you know it's all going to fit on the canvas, and once you get one part done, you know it's all, you've got the space to do the other. So it's all relative. So once you've got the measurement elements in the face, it's just a matter of comparing then, and just keep checking and comparing vertical against horizontal, and measurements, the width, just compare to see if it's all tallies. And if there's any discrepancies, again, you just work out which is not correct. If you're enjoying this video, why not give it a like and share it with your friends? I would really appreciate that, as that would help my channel to grow. Thank you. To give you a little tip again, if doubt starts to creep in, because after a while you can start to get a little bit overwhelmed by it all, because there's quite a lot of elements within this picture, is just to have a break and just relax the mind, and then keep coming back to it. A 5-minute break will make all the difference. It's just keep open with the heart, that's the main thing. You will find eventually everything will just happen for you. It just takes practice and faith really in letting go. But the more you can let go, the more it will work for you. But you're still using the principles even though you're letting go. But it's not, the mind's not giving you negative vibes, you know, it's not putting doubt in you, or you get impatient, or you start getting a bit uptight about it all. By keeping the mind away and relaxed and open the heart, you just feel more relaxed and you just enjoy it more. So it's just a case of enjoying it. It's all it is. Painting is, for me, is love in action, so just let that happen. For longer and more in-depth videos, please join me on Patreon. The link is in the description below. Something to be aware of when you're drawing hands and fingers. They never look right when you do the outline, because it's when you start putting form in there, light and shade, that's when they start to look like hands. So just squint the eyes and just see the outline, and just make note of the outline, because if you just see it with all the light and shade on it, you think it looks different to what it is. But if you squint your eyes and just be more aware of the outline and draw that with your hands, you'll find that once you start putting the shade and everything in, it'll all come together. It's good practice to keep looking in the mirror as well. How I do it is obviously step back from the drawing, have the mirror in front of me, so I'm looking from over my shoulder, so I'm back at the picture and you're seeing it obviously from a different light, a different angle, so things start to stand out more. So I do look in the mirror quite a lot. Now with the background I've altered it slightly a bit. I've altered the angle of the spar in the corner of the shed, making it vertical because that's how it would look if you were looking at it naturally with the eyes. It's only the camera that's made it sloping, so really you have to correct these things, because if you're doing this from life you'd be drawing that straight and vertical. I would correct the perspective as well with the planks when you draw them in, just making sure everything slopes correctly right for perspective, because again the camera can throw that a little bit. Hope you've enjoyed this outline video. Next week will be part 2, which we were looking at the underdrawing and the final colours of the skin tone and the hair. Thank you for watching the video right through to the end. If you found value in it and you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Appreciate it, would help the channel. Leave a comment and a message in the comments below. Let me know what sort of videos you want me to produce. I've actually left a couple of links here for you to click on, and to subscribe click on the circle here. It's absolutely free and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much, take care and be well.